In this video, we're going to talk about how to train machine learning models using a full machine learning flow tool from NXP called EIQ Time Series Studio. First of all, if you're not sure what time series data means, that just means unidimensional or 1D data that can come from any type of sensor or even internal states of systems. So another word you can use is waveform. So anything that you can capture on an oscilloscope or a data logger, those would be all examples of time series data. The machine learning models used for time series data usually involve classical machine learning and types of models like decision trees, classifiers, support vector classifiers, and support vector machines, um, and things like ensemble regressors. All of these are very simple models that can run on small embedded devices, even M-core microcontrollers. And they are very well suited for machine learning applications on time series data because they're very lightweight, they can run very fast for that matter, and like I just said, they can run on very small devices when needed. Whenever we prescribe the algorithm to be used to process the data using machine learning, so like in this example, maybe we have a population of samples and we would like to use a support vector machine um, to find the best separation between those two classes. We're dealing with classical machine learning. So whenever we tell the algorithm how to extract features or how to make sense of the data or what recipe to use, if you like, that's called classical machine learning. And for time series data, classical machine learning is by far the most used and the best choice whenever possible. But when models get very complex or the data gets very complex to analyze, and it's hard to find distinguishing features between classes, you may need to resort to using um, deep learning. So, deep learning usually involves that you end up using convolutional neural networks and more complicated algorithms to look at the data. And in this case, it's called deep learning not because there are many, many layers, which is kind of a consequence of doing deep learning, but because we're not prescribing the recipe. The model figures out the algorithm to use to make sense of the data. We just give it past experiences, so label data, and the model just learns from it how to best extract features and how to best um, figure out what features are relevant. So deep learning, because of its complexity, involves a lot of parallel math, a lot of multiply accumulates. The math itself is not complicated, it's just a lot of it. So, deep learning, machine learning models, even if they're used for time series data, are still pretty heavy. They're pretty big. It takes a long time to run, especially on devices that run the math sequentially, like M cores or A core microcontrollers or processors. Um, Unless you have dedicated accelerators that, like NPUs or VPUs, that handle those workloads better. So, whenever possible, use classical machine learning models because they're much more lightweight and they run much faster on smaller devices. But if your data is too complex for classical machine learning to be useful, you can also explore deep learning. And EIQ Time Series Studio can handle both scenarios as needed. Going back to EIQ Time Series Studio, as soon as you open it, you'll notice example applications um, that are meant to kind of show you what is possible with machine learning for time series data. Here are all examples of anomaly detection models. And you can do things like checking if the state of a fan um, is not normal, like if there's any clogging or friction happening, or the fan is not spinning at all. A very common use case is doing condition monitoring on any type of rotating machines like generators, pumps, motors. And this is great to protect either expensive assets or critical assets. Imagine like pumps for water supply for a city or generators for power plants, anything that if it breaks down unexpectedly, it can cause major disruptions. We can do anomaly detection to detect any states that could be dangerous before more damage happens. Another common use case is doing arc detection. Arcs are the leading cause of residential fires. So we can train a model to recognize the voltage pattern of an arc before a fire actually starts in order to prevent fires from happening. Other use cases could be detecting overload in washing machines or detecting foreign objects in between a wireless charger and a charged device, or foreign object detection. There are other types of applications or models that you can train, like classification. And you will see some of the same examples also listed in classification because they can actually be trained as either anomaly detection or classification. Let's take the fan example here. You can either detect whether the fan is working properly or the on state as expected, or any anomaly that is not normal, right? That would be classified as anomaly. So whether it's off, clogged, or there's some friction, that can be labeled as one class as anomalous. In that case, it's anomaly detection. Or you can actually classify the different states like on, off, clogged, or friction as separate, distinct classes, in which case this becomes a classification model. So both of those are possible. It just depends on what you want to do and how much information you want to gather from the system state. Other things that can be done with classification, recognizing cardiac patterns, human activity recognition, and even recognizing rock, paper, scissors um, using a small 2D infrared sensor. Okay, so you might ask why 2D when we talked about 1D data? Well, you can represent 2D data as a 1D data string if you just concatenate all the rows or columns. And you can still train a model to do that, provided that the data is small enough, right? This doesn't work for giant images. There's also one classification that just means there's just one state that you're looking for or not. And regression, that means extrapolating values into the future based on current data, or extrapolating a unknown system state based on other system variables. And those examples include estimated electric motor temperature without directly measuring it, machine load prediction, air blower clog monitoring, extreme weather, um, and temperature prediction, and a few others, right? So the idea is you have some examples to look at. All of these come with existing data sets that you can import, look at, and train models on. The nice thing about EIQ Time Series Studio is that all these data sets that exist within the tool um, and all the data sets you have to work with in this tool are all in CSV format. So it's very easy to look at the data or create your own data or even fake your own data using mathematical formulas or even just typing it in. So very easy to work with the data sets. And this is what time series machine learning is all about. And we'll go through some step-by-step instructions on how to actually train and run these models.